The Future of American Orchestras, a discussion of the problems and prospects facing American symphony orchestras, their music, and their audiences' expectations. This timely conversation examines trends and challenges facing youth, community, collegiate, and professional orchestras. In this segment, panelists discuss the future of the American orchestra with musicians' unions.
Most, if not all, professional orchestras are union organizations. What is the future of this relationship, and what changes have to come for the orchestra of 2020 to be successful?
Why is the panel looking at a former orchestra manager?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know.
First of all, I would start by saying I think the existence of a union is an absolute necessity. The way and while orchestras have often been affiliated with the union, before the 1960s, the union paid no attention to classical musicians, and musicians were treated just horrendously. They were underpaid. You couldn't live on the salary you made by being a member of the greatest orchestras in America, New York, Chicago. Conductors, you make one mistake or just look funny at the conductor, you could be fired without recourse. They could hold you without warning for an hour and a half of overtime, even if you had students waiting, because you had to have students waiting because you couldn't make a living playing in the orchestra. So I believe that the union's greater strength is a necessity. As often happens in labor and probably in most of life, pendulums swing and they go from one extreme to the other. And I think there's got to be a healthier, more mutually communicative relationship between union musicians and managements and the union itself. The union has always been behind the curve on electronic media. The first union reaction to records was to ban American musicians from making them. James Petrillo, for 2 years, all recording work was done in Europe because that was going to put live musicians out of work. And they have been behind the curve on the internet and everything else, demanding big payments for a while when there was no money to be paid. That's beginning to loosen up a little bit. I think there still needs to be some really significant change, and actually, I wonder, and I've actually had this conversation at my school, I wonder if some music school or conservatory could be the host of a really interesting 2-day symposium that had a whole spectrum of people from the field to talk about the history and the future of the union orchestral institution relationship. There has to be more flexibility while still protecting people. I think that's possible, but everybody's afraid to even put their toe in that water, and I wonder if an educational institution might not be the place to start that exploration.
If you can join me in a round of applause for each member of our panel: David Cizak, Luke, Edward, Janet, Henry. I think you guys did good. That was great.